Hey guys, recently there were a lot of news about our ministers renting black and white bungalows from authorities in which they control. People were speculating all sorts of stuff. Was there an abuse of power, conflict of interest, and all the other stuff? The news got so hot that even the mighty Corrupt Practices Investigation Bureau, which is the CPIB, and they report directly to the Prime Minister. They were called in to investigate if there is any corruption practices involved. But what really caught my attention was that the ministers were renting black and white houses. What are black and white houses? Are they a good deal? If it's a good deal, I want to find out. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about black and white houses, run through some of the numbers our ministers paid, and compare to what are the prevailing market houses. Is it a good deal compared to your typical bungalows? So for those of you who are new to my channel, my name is Gerald and I'm an ex-shuttler turned YouTuber / realtor in Singapore, and I talk about personal finance tips so that you can build your wealth, don't have to worry about money, and do the things that you're passionate about. So the black and white houses get its name from the monotonous colors that is used in its construction and its design. So typically it has whitewashed walls and it's built with dark timber beams on the inside. So what's the allure of black and white houses in Singapore? So when I try to read up and understand, the first thing I notice is the long history of black and white houses in Singapore. They are known as like your heritage colonial houses, and SLA describes it as a cross-pollination between indigenous Malayan type of building as well as your Mok Tudor features, and they are built from the 19th century up to the end of 1930s, and they are no longer built. So history, check. The next thing that's very attractive about them is that they are a status symbol. And I'm not talking like good class bungalow kind of status symbol. All these black and white homes were once the homes of European colonial era government officials as well as senior military officers. And today, it houses mostly your foreign embassies, your diplomats, your senior executives of MNCs, basically the really rich and powerful people in our society. And the third point is that I never knew how rare, like they're super rare in Singapore. So they're no longer being constructed. There's only around 500 of these buildings left, and only 65 of them have like good class bungalow size. So what are good class bungalow size? It is a requirement that they are at least 14,000 square meters large or 15,000 square feet. Or in terms of badminton courts, which is what I'm most familiar with, it's about 17 badminton courts combined. That's the minimum size to be classified as like a good class bungalow size. Yeah, and there's only 65 of them around in Singapore. So contrast that with your typical landed home in Singapore. In Singapore, what I found is that there's 75,000 landed homes and about 2,800 good class bungalows in Singapore. Yes, the number of good class bungalows are less than the number of black and white houses in Singapore, not to mention the good class bungalow size black and white houses. They are like so few. They're super rare in Singapore. So really the appeal is rich history, super rare, and like a very high status symbol in Singapore. But living in such homes also come with its downsides. In fact, when I checked out, there were quite a lot of big downsides that you need to kind of take note of. So the first is that such properties cannot be privately owned. In fact, all of them are now managed by the Singapore Land Authority. So you need to bid for them, and every time you bid for a rental lease, it's only 2 to 3 years long. So there's this level of uncertainty and possible inconvenience that might happen when it comes to renting black and white homes. Secondly, it's also a conservation type of house, so that means that there's a lot of rules and regulations with regards to maintaining the property's look and feel, and you need to ask for a lot of permissions to change things. Like, for example, if you want to cut down a tree, you need to ask for permission. You want to change a little bit of the surface at a swimming pool, change the bathroom, you need to ask for permission. This also means that when you leave, you probably have to restore the design back to how it was when you first came into the place. So yeah, there's a lot of work involved in maintaining a black and white house. And not to mention the fact that most of them are old, or in fact more than 100 years old. That means lots of old house problems that you would get. So the question is, are you prepared to own one if you have the money? So then the question becomes, how do you actually rent one? Because it's not privately owned, so you can't go to like a typical property rental websites to kind of, call the agent up and, hey, I want to rent through Property Guru or Carousel. You actually have to go to the government website called State Property Information Online, and you need to submit a tender. So it's like a bidding process where, you need to call the managing agent, you can view the property, and subsequently you need to place a bid. So there is a bidding window. You need to check the official website, and I heard that it is actually very inconvenient. There's a lot of documentations that you need to submit properly in order to enter a bid in order to secure the property. And bidding does not guarantee you will get a property, because usually there are people competing with you if it's a popular property. So you need to outbid without knowing the other person's bid in hopes of being able to get the place. So yeah, you kind of need to spam refresh to kind of figure out when they're released in order to catch these properties as they're listed. So let's talk about our minister's place. I'm not going to name like the exact unit and stuff like that because that's not very nice. But let's talk about the price and the sizes that they got. So I'm just going to prop them up right here. But what's really interesting is one of them rented a place that has a land of 150,000 square feet. So what really caught my eye after putting up the stats is that one of them has a livable space of 856 square meters, but a surrounding area of 23,165 square meters, or approximately over 150,000 square meters, or if we convert to badminton courts, which is what I like to use, 170 badminton courts wide. And all these for a price of $26,500 per month. So it seems like you get a very good deal renting a huge amount of land for so little or relatively little cost. But you see, we need to check out surrounding properties, the issues, the challenges regarding the property to figure out, are black and white homes, good class bungalows really that good a deal? So if we look at the entire space vis-a-vis to the amount of rent paid, it seems like it's a really good deal. But how good a deal is really relative to all the opportunities out there, and what are the market conditions. So let's head over to my laptop and see what other interesting properties we can find at that kind of price range and what sizes we can expect to get. So in front of my laptop right now, I'm going to just check through 3 different places. Property Guru, where we can see surrounding properties, how expensive they are, what are some things to look out for, and we're also going to look at the official SPIO website, what are some deals that have transacted in the past. And last but not least, we're going to look at the CPIB's data. It's going to be really interesting because CPIB's report would show data that it's not that easily accessible by the everyday person, right? So let's get started. Okay, so I'm excited. I'm at Property Guru right now. I searched, the address of the place, and I found 34 results that were nearby. So bear in mind, this is just a quick research, and you can see good class bungalow, $65,000. Woof, this is huge. Let's see how it looks. So yeah, we have another unit for 69,999. Should have just said 70,000. 9,000 square feet of livable space. That's huge. Good class bungalow size. And 15,000 square feet land. Oh my god, that is massive. Let's check out how this place looks. Oh, this is a ride-out park. Look at that swimming pool. Oh my god, look at that marble flooring. Just look at this. Then another one at almost the same size, but seemingly almost half the price at $38,000 a month at 7,500 square feet. So it's quite a few percentage smaller, but a lot cheaper than this ride-out park building. Okay, it does not look as renovated as the other place. At least the swimming pool doesn't look as good, but it's still massive. Here we have the most expensive unit that we've seen so far, $90,000. But oh my god, look at the flooring space, 12,000 square feet. Absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, but it's available for $90,000. So Elon Musk, if you are interested, this is the property you might consider, right? And of course, if you try to look at price insights, it is not available because these units are so hard to come by and they're so individualized. Like every single unit is kind of different. So how do you even put a past price to compare? I've tabulated the data to kind of get to make them into the same metric, which is instead of square feet, square meter. So I tabulated some of the numbers, and we can see that most of these properties on Property Guru range from $65 per square meter to as much as like $83 per square meter. And so it seems that the key factor that we have is how well designed the place is often leads to more rental price. So bear in mind, this is the square meter of the livable space. I did not include like the surrounding area. Maybe I should, but it's going to take a lot of time. Nah, maybe another video. If you want, you can just comment below. I might compare, including of external space to see if there's any patterns. But so far, based off of this, I do not see very clear patterns. Like, are larger units cheaper per square meter? It doesn't seem so. Based on this property guru data, you can't seem to find any trends. Like, larger units don't seem to be cheaper per square meter because, you know, bulk discount doesn't seem to appear to be the case. So yeah, let's head over to SPIO and see what we've got. So if you're on the SPIO site, the way to look for the place is view residential properties. If you tried this, you probably will not be able to see the prices because this is where you bid for a property. But where you can find the information is head over to bidding results. So you head over to bidding results, click residential, click past 6 months, bam, all the data is over here. It says 1 successful bidder, obviously. I mean, could there be instances where it's 3 successful bidders? So if you click into it, you can see all the competition over there. So you can see the design of this place. This is a black and white house. Clearly, you can see the beams, the design of the walls, the color scheme, very, very black and white. Yeah, so you can see that the actual area inside is 5,000 square feet. The land area is 27,000 square meter. That's a lot of square meter to convert. Let's just... so as you can see, this is a good class bungalow size. So yeah, it's very interesting. It's $30,000 for 499 square meters, which is smaller than what our minister bid for. But this place looks very new. Like if you see the design of the place, it looks very renovated. Now let's look at other units. Seemingly another good class bungalow size, but this is like half the price. This is definitely not half the size. So yeah, another black and white house. So yeah, this place is unfurnished, so maybe that's why it's a lot cheaper. Ooh, what interesting fence. It looks like a prison from this facade. But I'm sure it's a lot nicer inside. Yeah, it looks nice. Very, very old school. Look at the fan. Look at the exposed trunking. I think maybe back in the older days, all these, the more, the technology to hide and the idea to hide a lot of these trunking features were not so easily accessible or made. So that's why all these exposed trunking and fans were installed and built. And as you can see, this is like also core central region, but half the price. So I guess it's because the gross floor area or the livable space is a lot smaller despite there being a lot of land. So this land space around it doesn't seem to add any value in terms of cost, and this is a lot less renovated compared to the previous unit that we saw. So unfurnished could be a reason why this is a lot cheaper. So amenities, international schools, local schools. What about your supermarkets? It's not available. Yeah, you can see how central this is in Singapore. So again, if we scroll down, we can see the prices of the units. Again, this is 4,100 square feet compared to the first one, 5,000. This is 30,000. This is like 16,000. So the price seems to be all over the place. There's one that's right out road, just exactly next to the land that we were looking at. But one thing to note is that this one has no land area, so it's just a plot of land. That doesn't make any sense. I think the staff might have accidentally miswrote or something. Can't be right, it's just a plot of land. Estimated gross floor area. Okay, maybe this is the area inside. This is the design of the place. So as you can see, this is 40 to 40E Ride Out Road. It's been rented out and this is very popular. Apparently this Ride Out Road is super popular among bidders. Why is this renting out for $5,000? I have no idea. Yeah, but $5,000, you expect the size of a typical HDB flat or a large condo. So like a 5-room flat kind of size. And interestingly enough, this black and white property it doesn't cost too far off a 5-room flat in Singapore. So I guess it makes sense that it's priced at this figure by its core central region. So at core central region, if you can get like 5-bedroom kind of units at 1,500 square feet landed property that is for $5,500, it's actually a pretty darn good deal. Again, you can see how central this location is. No wonder it's so popular. So actually, if you look at the prices of the state property, it is quite reasonable. It doesn't come across as extremely extravagant. In fact, if you compare it to the good class bungalows that were listed on Property Guru, most of these places are asking for like $40-50 per square meters, as opposed to the really expensive good class bungalows that we saw near Rideout. Those properties seems to ask for like an extra 50 to 100% more in dollars per square meter. But one thing to note is that for SPIO, these are prices that have been, confirmed, whereas those on Property Guru are pre-negotiation. So maybe people will negotiate, bring the price down. And also because this is an old property, there's a lot more maintenance that you have to do. So I guess it makes sense that these properties are cheaper vis-a-vis to like your typical good class bungalow that is like newly renovated and super posh. So last but not least, let's look at the minister's report to kind of take a look at some of the photos, some of the stats that the government or the investigation bureau has presented, and find out how good a deal this place actually is. Okay, so first up, we can see that the place is white, very white. There's no air condition, exposed trunking. It's because it's an old building, so naturally all those technology were not easily built back then. Look at how much. Oh, it looks like a very tall unit. Yeah, 3 meters tall, 3.5 meters tall. Furnishing looks basic, and they have a lot of commentary, like there's no cooker, hob or hood. So this means you need to install your gas or induction cooker, which a lot of people don't really like because it cooks super slow. Bathroom, no heater, so you bathe in cold water. That's quite outdated, right? Yeah, you can see the structural issues present. Oh my god, this place is bad. So look at this. This is going to cost a bomb to kind of fix up the property. So yeah, there's wet rot. Oh my god, you need to pluck out the entire wood and install a new one. Damaged ceiling board. Yeah, and you can see, yes, everything is old. Very, very old. Moldy. It's just bad. And if all the surrounding property is asking for approximately 40, 45, 50 square meters, this should definitely command a lot less because look at the state it's in. So then let's look at occupancy rates. So our minister moved in 2019. So as you can see, it wasn't... Okay, it's Rideout Road seems to be the most popular amongst all the other District 10, the most premium place. It looks to be the most popular, except like 2018, and suddenly, yeah, boom, people moved out, and they explain why, because 4 tenants terminated their tenancy. But suddenly, once it reached 2020, ever since the ministers move in, it's like 100%, 93. So you can see, it's like having ministers there, they act as anchor tenants to attract all the other crowd that want to do business with them. Say good morning to the minister to kind of rent the place. So yeah, it's been crazy busy. And it's also the time where COVID kind of hit. So when COVID hit, people started to want to spend more on premium places. Look at the occupancy rates throughout. This used to be 60+%. Now it's like hovering at 90s. This was 70s, now it's like almost 90s. This was 70s, now it's at mid-80s. So generally, these black and white places are becoming more popular over time. And will it get better? I have no idea. With all these news flash, all these news regarding the property, I can only imagine it will get even more popular. So I saw this table, Ira. I don't really like min-max average rental price because it does not factor in the size of the place that is being rented out. And whereas this makes a lot more sense. So as you can see, this is a black and white bungalow. Our minister rented out one of the units at 856 square meter, and you can see the rental date. All these properties were rented at 2018, and this was in 2018. All the prices were cheaper than it is now. It seems that right now the prices that I found seems to be around 30% higher or more. Back then, let's assume that it's fair. During renewal, it's gonna be a rental shock for the people that's living in this property. Maybe that's why a lot of them moved out, because the price kind of jumped. So then they decide, you know what, I'm not going to renew the lease, and they went up. So again, 2019, the lease seemed to have stayed more or less the same. We try to look at patterns. Okay, these are the more expensive ones, this is the smaller one, this is the more expensive one, these are the smaller ones, this is the cheaper one, this is the bigger one, this is the cheapest one, this is mid-size. So this doesn't seem to be any pattern with regards to the per square meter, to space. So apparently it's more of the condition of the property more so than, hey, larger size cheaper or more expensive. I can't find any patterns there. Then last but not least, they look at all the rental transactions in the vicinity, including Sweetenham Road, which is like the really expensive property that we saw earlier. And you can see, wow, the average is like close to 40 almost $40 per square meter, as what I kind of observed earlier on. For this, the pattern looks a lot clearer. So cheaper ones, large, expensive one, small, medium size, medium. So the really expensive one, like the 42, is generally a smaller size. So from this, we can tell that the larger bungalow seems that it is cheaper per square meter. So this is huge, this is 23. This is huge, this is 27. This is small, and this is like 65. So 42 is relatively small compared to the rest. The 600s are also relatively small, right? So there seems to be some sort of correlation, but of course you need to check even larger data to kind of verify that, hey, smaller property, more expensive. So now to the important question, would you ever want to try for a black and white house? Just try, throw in a dumb bid, hopefully you might be able to get one. Would I? Nah, I probably wouldn't, because for me, I don't have a business case working on networking with these people. I'm not a particular fan of the design, and neither do I want the high running cost of maintaining an older property. So for me, more modern place, cheaper, and that extra money I invest. I'm at a state of mind where I want to scrape and save every penny. So that's where I'm at. What do you think of these houses in Singapore? And more importantly, in the next video, I'm going to talk about house hacking, such that you can actually use your house to make money for you over here, or check out what YouTube recommends you over here. And I will see you in the next video. Take care and stay safe, everyone.